On this episode of Steadfast 2277, we're going to be working on my Ford Fusion here, and we're going to be changing the rear brakes, because boy oh boy, they are metal. Alright, so first things first with any vehicle, take off the tire. So now the second thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the brake caliper. Now I'm really hoping that since it's on metal that it didn't come out too far and it's not going to want to go back. I hope that it does want to go back. So first things first, we're going to take off the two bolts in the back that are holding the caliper on. So it's these right here, this one right here, and then this one right here. They're supposed to slide in and out right here on these grease fittings here, if they are greased up. If not, we're gonna have to resand them down and re-grease them. So the top ones right here, they're gonna be 14s, this one and this one, and if you were just doing the pads, you'd stop there, but we're gonna take the bracket off as well to replace this nasty rotor. So to take off your caliper, the bolt for it is right here. It's a 13 millimeter, and then if you come down, where's my hand? It's gonna be right there, as you can tell, but you can't get through it. So they leave you this little access port right here. You're gonna take your extension and your socket, and you're gonna put it through there, and that's how you're gonna get it off. So first things first, let's get the caliper off. So now what you're going to do is you're going to remove your pads. These guys are really in there. Look at that. You see how nice and corroded it is up in there where the slides, where it should be mounted and slide? Yeah. The not so fun part is getting off this rusted rotor. It's gonna need some persuasion, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna get out the hammer and I'm gonna start tappity tap. I'm just kidding, not tappity tap. I'm banging the shit out of it. So I'm gonna try whacking around here on the sides to try to break it free. It's frozen right here. If you want, you can get some PB Blaster in these holes around here just to help get it in there, leach in there, and do its thing. But this is the not so fun part, and I'm always gonna wear these protection because it just gets so loud echoing off this in the garage and everything. So yeah, let's get to tappity tapping. Right now, doesn't this look so much better painted and everything? 10 times better. Alright, so the next step now is we're going to take the caliper piston and we're going to spin it right back in. Now, me personally, I liked the C-clamp, the C-clamp that you have to spin on the front. I believe it's that. Some have it on the front and some have the special tool on the back. I like the XJ that's right there. C-clamp it and the piston goes right back in. I personally like that. Not quite sure why they have this special tool. I don't know. Leave a comment in the down below if you guys know. Be interested to see why they switched. Okay, so what you're going to do is you can rent or buy the brake caliper tool set. I got mine at AutoZone, returning it, and it's free. So you're gonna find the correct attachment for your piston, and what I mean by that is if you come over here and you take a look at the piston head, see there's these notches that are right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're gonna find the correct one that fits it, and for me it's F. So for your Ford Fusion guys, it's F, and it comes over and it just goes in one of the notches. Let's see here, right there. So it goes right into those notches, and see if it stays. And you're gonna take this, so this tool right here is gonna insert itself into that, right? Put it on the slide, and it goes right in. And then the other one, see that? And another one bolts right onto that. I hope I got that. And then you just spin it. And what this is doing is it's taking your piston that's in your brake caliper and pushing it all back, because they came out so far due to the pads and the rotors being worn, but definitely due to the pads being worn. So you're not going to be able to get your new pads on, because the piston's so far out, and you won't be able to get it in. You won't be able to get it back onto your new rotor. So I'm going to go ahead and do this with 2 hands, because it's a little bit of a pain to do with 1 hand. But I hope you guys got the gist pretty much with me showing you. Hopefully you can still kind of sort of see, not really, I hope, I don't know. So when you go ahead and you get your rotor, there's going to be anti-corrosion chemicals that are on it that you need to get off. So that's why you got to get a can of brake cleaner. And all you got to do is just go around the actual rotor and give it a good spray. Good spray and wipe. There's all kinds of chemicals and contaminants that are on that rotor. Now it's all done. You're gonna take it. You're gonna put it back on the car. All right. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your rotor. You're gonna put it right back on the car. What I like to do is to help get these things off down the road. Right. I also do this on drums, especially drums. Those are a pain in the butt. So what I like to do is, even though it's painted, like for like the non-painted ones, take a little bit of anti-seize and just put it right around the inner rim of this. Not only is it going to help it not rust, but this is overkill. I didn't realize it was a big glob. But what it's going to also do is, when it comes time to you taking that off, you don't have to bash it with a sledgehammer or a hammer for that thing to free up, which makes it so much easier. And you get a peace of mind knowing that your brake job is going to be a whole lot easier in the future. Alright, so once that's all set, you're going to take your rotor, your caliper itself, and you're going to bolt it back on. Now you're going to take your bolts to hold on your caliper for the bracket. I put a little bit of anti-seize on there. Makes life a whole lot easier when it comes time in the future. The one problem about anti-seize is that it gets absolutely everywhere. And I mean everywhere. You don't realize you got it on there, and you go and you touch stuff, and then that stuff has it on there, and then you move that stuff, and that stuff's got it on there. It just doesn't go away. That's what makes it so great. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to install your brake pad clips. So the same way as you took them off, the same way they're going to go back on. What I like to do is coat them with a little bit of anti-seize on the bottom, so that way they come off. And the same on the top. And then you're going to get your pads. On the inner pad, I like to put some anti-seize on there for the caliper so it doesn't stick to it for your piston. Now, they're going to go like this. So it's the shape of your rotor, right? So they're going to stick to it like so. So you're going to stick them in like that. So all you got to do is push in those tabs as you're sliding them in. And then they should go right on in. Alright, now once you've gone ahead and you got your pads on there, like I said, these clips here, let me show you out of the vehicle. So these clips right here, right? See how they have those little pinchers in there? So that's to keep your pad in place. So when you go to put them on, right, all you gotta do is slide it on in and see how it goes up, and it holds it right in there. So it's pretty simple. So you just go in and pinch it in there, right, just like so. If you want, you can put a little bit of anti-seize or some grease in there. So that's gonna help do is keep it not so it doesn't rust to it, and it keeps it moving nice and freely and getting some good brake wear. All right. Now the next step, after you get your pads in there and you got a anti-seize or grease mess, you're gonna take your caliper, and this is how you're gonna know that you put it all the way back the way it needs to. If it doesn't fit, you gotta do it more. Slides right on, nice now. Now you're gonna take your caliper and you're gonna grease them up. Some come with grease, some don't. Mine didn't, so I'm gonna use some heavy duty wheel bearing grease. It'll work just as the same. This is to help just slide them in and out really nice and so that it doesn't freeze up or seize up in there. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that and you're gonna slide that in between the caliper and the bracket. So you're gonna take that, you're gonna slide it right in the top right here and here, and then you're gonna take your caliper. You want to make sure that they're both compressed in as you're doing this, so that way the caliper can go on. A little bit of anti-seize on the bolts. A little more on the bottom one. Alright, so that is it for this side. It's fairly simple. I mean, anyone can do this at home, so you can do it yourself to save yourself some money. And it's quite enjoyable after you do it yourself, and you know that you put on the correct products that you wanted on there, and not some shops saying that they did, and then they turn around and they put out cheapos, some squeaky squeaks, you know, dust busters, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, and you got to paint it up yourself, because that is what they're not going to do. They will not even do that. And I don't even think some don't even put the anti-seize stuff on there, because what they think is, okay, well, not my car, not my problem. So at least now you know it's going to get done properly. And yeah, so this is the same as this side as on the other side in the rear. Most vehicles are usually like this. You need the special in the rear, well, the newer ones. You need the special brake caliper tool in the back, and usually a regular C-clamp in the front. The fronts are a lot easier to do. You don't need that tool. Now, most vehicles are pretty much like this. They're pretty much the same, just different, obviously, like bolts and whatnot. It's the same concept. Grease them up and whatnot, and push back the caliper all the way. But yeah, so let's get to the other side. And that is it, guys. It is so simple to do your brakes. I made it look easy on that because, well, everything came off nice and nice. Even the rotors, even though like, you bang them a little bit, sometimes they don't want to come off, and you got to bring out the sledgehammer. And that is when it gets to be a problem, because then you're starting to hit that. You could damage wheel bearings because you're giving a lot of force into them. Like, there's a whole bunch of issues that can go wrong, but that was pretty simple. And I know that I'm going to be doing the brakes again on that in the future. So you saw what I did there with the anti-seize on the rotor on the inside. On the faceplate I put on there for the tire because it welds to it with the rust. and then also all the bolts and stuff like that. I make sure that that stuff is gonna come off in the future. I think ahead. I think smarter and not harder, which is just throw them back in there, torquing them down, and then pray 60,000 miles down the road in the salt, the snow, and the rain, and the cold, and the heat, and all that crap, that those things are not going to rust in and they're going to snap. And then once they snap, you got to drill them out, or they're going to strip, and all that BS. Just think smarter. That tube I got off of Amazon, I think it was 10 bucks for that big jar. Don't go to, you can go to like Advance and Walmart and get the little skinny one, but if you're going to be doing a lot of car stuff, get the big tube because it's going to go a long way. So alright guys, thank you for watching. It's a DIY video. It's pretty inexpensive to do yourself. A brake job can run between $600 and up. You can get all the parts and materials if you're doing all rotors and all pads around between $400 to $500 for decent good ones. If you want L squeakers or dust busters, I mean it could be under $300 or around $300. So thank you for watching. You do what you like, share, subscribe, and have a fantastic night.